Welcome back, everyone. This is Ellington, and we are back on Total War Rome 2. And we have got ourselves a 3 versus 3 in-house battle. This one was sent in by Ghost King, who is one of the defenders here playing Masacily. Now, along with him, we have got Nailbiter being commanded by Jackal, and finally Carthage being commanded by who's Mr. Bubbles. Now for the attackers, we have got Massilia. Actually, you don't see a whole lot being commanded by Everos. We've got Pergamon being commanded by Wesley, and finally we have got Epirus being commanded by the Pizza Maker. Now this one here is taking place on, This is taking place on the settlement of Babylon. Now the big difference is, and this is kind of interesting, this is actually a medium version of Babylon. You can see we've got some artillery flying in here over in this direction. Now, typically on Babylon, the large version, on the other side over here, you've got, like, pretty much most of this is a keep. And then the walls actually extend out like this. So you have this big area over here that's full of, like, towns or like, not towns, but houses and such. And it's a real pain in the ass because this keep is just very, very painful to fight in, and I actually think this is the actual, pretty much, like, I think if you just wall that off, I think you pretty much have the keep right here. But anyways, this is a medium-sized settlement, so it takes away the keep. It takes the final capture point and puts it right here, while in the large version it would be up in the keep. So typically it means without the keep, it makes the map a little more fair. The one downside to medium settlements is it takes away walled artillery from the defenders, which kind of sucks because that means the defenders have literally no real good option of counter to the attacking artillery. You can see the Pergamon does have an artillery, and I think they're, nope, Massilia does. So now you've got the attackers with 2 artilleries, and the only way the defenders could have brought artillery would be if Masacily or Nailbiter could have done it. But I don't think they did. Doesn't look like they used the money on that. That's the hard part for the defenders, is you don't get near as much money, so affording artillery is not very easy. And especially, you know, the fact that only the desert factions get a deployable onager, which kind of sucks. It's kind of stupid, to be honest with you. So they are really, the attackers already, so it looks like they're focusing their attack down this corner. But at the same time, they are sending units off to the side to pressure the back, you know, ranks of the defense. So if the defenders decide to defend here, they are also being pressured on their backside and flank. Over here doesn't look like they're quite doing the same thing. They've kind of pushed over here, but for the most part, they are focusing their attack right down the corner. So what does their corner look like? Let's go in through the breach here. So you come to the left, and you have a wide open area, which means the defenders have a lot of stuff they can set up to counter you. To the right, you got a long, narrow kind of street, if you want to, I guess is the best way to say it, where you will be confronted by unit, then another unit, then another unit, then another unit, kind of drawn in a staggered formation. But the one bonus I think that you have to this side is that because of the pressure on the flank, they can easily bring archers over here if they want to put archer fire on the backside. They would just need to be careful of any sort of slinger up on the walls over here. We do have some good archers on the battlefield on both, well, honestly, really on both sides, but for the most part, the defenders, I believe, have the advantage here. You got the 4 Nabatean heavy archers, and then you've got the 3 Cretan archers from Carthage. Masacily doesn't have archers, Now for the attackers, you've got the 3 Cretans of Epirus, you have the 3 Massilian Gallic Hunters, but the Pergamon player only has standard archers 125 range instead of that 150, which could be kind of a bit of a pain in the butt. We can see one of the units of Gallic Hunters. They have set up a shield for the towers here. The towers they've set up as a shield to kind of alleviate any sort of archer or tower fire coming from that direction, so a good move. They also have a pretty good crossfire with their artillery. So far, it looks like they want to put all their pressure on the right flank here. One slave infantry is already broken. Then we got the armored desert hoplites coming in behind. Armored desert hoplites with a strong defensible position here will do pretty well. So this is a common tactic you see a lot more recently. So you can see they've got 2 units. One unit right here, but then they've got 1 unit off kind of slimmed up here. The reason for that is as this unit goes in and engages the enemy, it kind of forces this unit to look that way, which does expose a little bit of their sword side to the other unit for javelins. So what Nabatea did to try and alleviate that, he shifted his formation to the right side, and then he went hoplite wall. So what the hoplite wall is going to do is going to keep his shields facing this direction, which it's not going to permanently get rid of the javelin fire, but it is going to mean that he'll take a little bit less losses, which is better than nothing. And he's actually now doing the same thing to them. So he's got his armored desert hoplite here, and then a desert legionary coming up behind. The one downside is that the desert legionary is focusing his fire on the separate unit here, but he'll still get kills on it. No worries about that. 28 kills, but I think he's fought something already because he's lost quite a bit of men. I wonder what he was killing. Did they have a unit go inside, maybe? Or maybe they just took some losses to artillery. It's a Desert Legionary, a pretty good unit. There's a reason that people call Massaceae Desert Rome. One, because apparently people have a really hard time pronouncing the name, and 2, because they're Rome with gray colors. Mercenary Gallic warriors. Nabatean swords. A good cheap unit with javelins. Some of the other Nabatean options don't have javelins. I hope that they don't realize, because I think they have range on this, I hope they don't realize what is there, because there are 4 units of Carthaginian infantry here that if an artillery hit it, it would be very painful. Uh-oh. So the siege towers are going to collapse. That seems like it went really fast, honestly. So you can see they have 100% fire damage, but the damage is slowly counting down. So probably another 30, 45 seconds, and they will be out of it. Oh my gosh. This is the biggest downside for the defenders, is that this area here is just wide open to artillery fire. So that artillery from Massilia firing into this big courtyard here is going to be very, very painful. You can see on the other side, they do have units here. It is pretty open, but it doesn't seem to be quite as bad of an angle for the defenders as the other side is. Let's see, Desert Legionaries are up to 61 kills. Desert Hoplites at 100 kills now. And now they're going to go engage some Thorax. Got some Samnite Warriors behind. Look at the Celtics at 144, though. Oops. Oh, more artillery coming. Oh, that was a good hit too. What do we add on artillery kills here? 147. at 102, so they are definitely getting their worth out of it. And once again, I think that tends to be the biggest downside to the medium maps, is I do think that the defenders not getting any sort of artillery on the walls is really, really slanted to the attackers in that way, which is really unfortunate. It means that the defenders can't punish the attackers for any sort of stacking up or clumping, while the attackers can really punish the defenders for the exact same thing. Thorax swords, Massilian thorough spears. Then you got the thorough spears from Pergamon behind. They're going to have so many javelins to throw in this. It's pretty ridiculous, not even going to lie to you guys. I guess we're about to find out how bad. They really don't want to go over this way, which I wouldn't want to either. I think it's the worst place to go here. But on the right side, it's going to be very grindy. It's going to be the biggest downside to this side. But as I said earlier, you can see they have brought their archers over to the right so that they can, they're looking to get shots here now. They haven't started yet. Yeah, they all have 0 kills, but I guess we will see soon. I think we just heard another tortoise break down another wall, by the way. Just getting a little bit of combat here. Good switch out. Celtic Warriors and Sam Knights switching up here. All right. Is that... I think the Nabatean Heavies are now shooting over at the Cretans. Let's see where that volley's coming in. Cretans are now engaging back. But the regular archer unit is getting the hell out of there because that's a bad matchup. Nabatean Heavies are really good archers. Here's some Cav. Massilian Cav, which is actually a pretty good... What I really like about it is it's an inexpensive Cav gen for Massilia. Their other option for Massilia is the Hippeus Lancer, which one I don't think is that great. And number two, it's like 1,000 gold, while Massilian Cav is like 590 or something like that. Which, tell me, I might be wrong on that. If somebody knows, put it in the comments section. But this is going to be a really interesting fight, just given the different comps that we have. With the defenders, you have this really heavy armor build with a lot of hoplites, you know, with their armored desert hoplites, and coupling that with the desert legionaries is going to be really interesting to see. For the attackers, you have a little bit different. They have really gone for a archer, or not archer, but a javelin spam. They really want to lay out as many javelins as they possibly can into the defenders, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes, because I hate, like, the javelin play is just about the most annoying strategy in Rome 2. It's just really annoying. You really can't do much on the other side than sit there and just take it in the face. But if you can do that, it's a pretty easy thing to beat, just in the way that most of the things that have a ton of javelins are not super, super strong units. So if you can survive the javelins and then fight them in melee, you should win that. It's just not getting drawn into bad situations where the enemy has better angles than you do. That's where you want to avoid that. This, I don't think that was the greatest idea by Nabatea, sneaking around. He's going behind and engaging the Sam Knights, but he's opened up his flank to just sit there and get shot in the side by this Galatian sword. That's the kind of stuff you don't want to be doing. You don't want to be getting off in that. If you keep in mind that if you keep your line pretty much straight they can't really as well get good angles on you, right? But if you let your line get staggered or something like that, then as units come in, then you can expose those flanks and hit them in the sides. Over here, yeah, I'd be honest with you guys, it does not look like they want to go over here at all. A lot of stuff lost on the walls. I think these are Illyrian levies from Epirus, which I think we're fighting Nabatean swords. I mean, this desert levy's got, what, 39 kills? Nothing quite pushing over this way. Got some heavy Numidian skirmishers, heavy Numidian skirmisher general. And on this side, the Carthaginian archers, I believe, have been getting some pretty good shots over here. They don't have a super amount of kills, so maybe they haven't. I thought I saw them shooting earlier. Could be just a little bit of a bad angle, just given, if you look where these units are, they're tucked right behind these houses. It's a really hard angle for the archers to actually get shots there. And here we go with more. Oh my gosh, Epirus, 1, 2, 3, 4 Royal Peltis. Jeez, and crackers. A lot of Agema spears sitting in the back from Pergamon. Agema spears are basically just super thorough spears. Carthage and Nabatea just having a heyday over there, while most of Nabatea and Mesacely are kind of fighting over on this other side. The Nabatean general was all the way over there at a gate, but he actually has come all the way around to the other side. I'm wondering if he's hoping to sneak out of this breach. Wonder if he's hoping to stay hidden, come around the back, get around here, and if he can sneak through the breach unseen, he might be able to get right through there into the Epirus Cretan archers. Numidian skirmisher general is getting shot now by the Cretans. No kills so far. 49 on the Nabatean swordsman. What is this? Oh, okay. Armored Desert Hoplite with 91. Desert Legionary at 87. We kind of got mixed up. Wait, what is... They're fighting something. What are they fighting? It's like there's a... I think this Thorax and this Desert Legionary got kind of mixed up. Tends to happen when... during cycle charges, as one unit is cycling for another one. Sometimes the units have attack commands on one of the units that's running away and forces them to run. Yeah. Nabatea thought he'd get in, and he's just getting the hell out of Dodge. He realized he's not getting into those archers. Massilia was watching, and he dropped that tower with plenty of time to stop. When units are on the towers, they can't throw javelins, but if you've dropped them from the towers, even if they're still climbing off the tower, you can then give an attack order and throw javelins at something. And for cavalry, that is the best anti-cavalry thing you have, is javelins. It is a way for you to punish a cavalry unit for either charging you or running away from you. If you have no javelins, cavalry can basically just sit there and charge you, run away, charge you, run away, charge you, run away. But if you have the threat of javelins, people will they'll think twice about doing so, because they know that every time they charge within range of your unit, there's a chance that they're going to take pretty decent casualties for free, pretty much. So especially with that Nabatea Cav being his general, it means that you don't really want to run the chance of this early in the battle losing a general like that. Massilian general even came over here to help protect. The Massilian general will lose to the Nabatean general, but it's still a unit that can help kind of screen the Nabatean cavalry. sometimes that's the best you can do if you can't beat them, is at least just keep them mimicked and mimic their movements. Try to keep your unit between theirs. It'll make that Cav player think a little bit more about wanting to go into that combat when there's a Cav unit that can stop it. How'd the artillery is 166 and the Vasilian one 197. Ugh. I mean, you can see over here that he got some good kills. Now, I think this looks like it's probably more like archer fire than it is artillery fire. But you can see all the dead bodies scattered around. Those are from the artillery rocks flying in and hitting different units. Once again, Carthage super lucky that they didn't launch a volley over into this river. He may not have range on it anyways, but I don't think I personally would have risked that. All right, here we go. Looks like we're going to have our first advance on the left. First, we got Pergamon coming in. He's going to, he looks like he's going to engage the Gallic warriors. Then on the left, we got the Nabatean swords just jabbing him as he charged in. But now, Thorax swords from Massilia going to charge in on the Nabatean swordsman. Probably want to countercharge here. Nope, no countercharge. I will say, for the most part, with most units of Rome 2, you want to get a countercharge. If you're caught flat-footed, the unit that's charging you is usually going to get a really good just initial amount of kills on you. Even if it's not a long-term thing, they still, you know, if you countercharge them, you will also gain that charge bonus. Now, there are some instances where it's not as good. Sometimes with units that have expert charge defense, you want to sit there, you want to let them sit, because then you're going to get a counter against that unit that's charging you. Could switch out, get another Gallic warrior, or no, Libyan infantry going in now. You have more Gallics waiting to go in as well. Galatian sword gonna break. It's got 60 kills. What about the Thorax? He's also got 60 kills. Now over here, it honestly looks like the attackers have lost a little bit of ground. The previous line of fire was kind of up here, and you can see how it's worked its way back. So Masacely and Nabatea doing a good job of pushing the attackers back, regaining the land, regaining their cities and their streets. Whose house? My house. Marching order. Galatian swords. Royal Peltis. Nice thing about Royal Peltis, they have the controllable precursor, which means that they can, the Everest player here can decide where he's going to use his javelins instead of just kind of hoping they throw at the right unit. What is this Thorax here? 31. I think that's probably mostly javelin fire, to be perfectly honest with you. Masacely and Pergamon, you know, really putting pressure over here now. I think they basically came to the conclusion that putting all their efforts down that one alleyway was probably not going to yield much results. Love seeing the arrow fire come in. Units charging in the background. On me! First I thought it was another wall, but it was the siege towers. So this is actually a really good idea, guys. They're actually using the towers to help block arrow tower fire. Arrow towers are free kills for the defenders, so by putting those the siege towers in front of them, it does alleviate a little bit of that damage that you get for just sitting there. Usually what tends to happen is as you have units sitting here, the tower is just constantly shooting them and getting free kills. Oh my god. Did you guys see that Libyan infantry just get wasted? Look at the Pergamon archers, 95, 87, 97. Gosh, another Libyan infantry just getting wasted by archer fire. Now the balance of power is heavily in the attacker's favor now. It has definitely swung beyond that middle point. And honestly, it makes sense. They have a lot of units left. Epirus has a ton of Royal Peltis. You can see that Epirus went heavy on the Royal Peltis, mostly due to his allies. So Pergamon, he can bring us the Agema Spears, but Agema Spears it's a spear unit. It's not going to... not what people typically consider a high-tier unit. And Massilia doesn't get a high-tier unit either. So that meant that the attackers were going into this battle with very few hard hitters. So Epirus went really heavy with the Royal Peltis to make up for a little bit of the lack of high-tier from the other two attackers. So Epirus and Massilia brought more mid-tier infantry, while Epirus went really heavy with the Royal Peltis. Now for the defenders, they have a similar issue. Massilia doesn't technically have a high tier. They've got the Desert Cohort, which is kind of it's an awkward unit because it's not really a high tier, but it's not really a mid tier. It's kind of been a weird spot there. Then Carthage, the only high tiers they can really bring are the Mercenary Noble Fighters, and Noble Fighters are a really risky unit to bring, just given their squishiness. And they're very expensive. And you can only bring 2 of them, so... And then with Nabatea, they don't really get a high tier either. For spears, they do have something called the Rakim Palace Guard, which is actually a really good spear unit. Wonder why Nabatea is not going after the archers again. I mean, he is wide open. Why? Am I missing something? I see the archers. There's a Royal Peltis that's kind of nearby. But if you got into this, the Royal Peltis would take a sec to turn around. The Agema Spears, same thing. They're not quite in range that they could just throw over here. So they would have to advance further to do so. I honestly think this is well worth a try to get into those Cretans. And I'm really, especially now you're getting shot by them. What is Nabatea doing? I don't understand that at all. And obviously the attackers know about it now because he was shooting them. I think that's a really big missed opportunity there from Nabatea. I really am not sure why he didn't go into that. By the way, can we talk about the fact that the fight over here has not been going on near as long as the fight on the other side, and yet this might have more bodies in it already. This side has been a massacre. There's a lot of dead here, a lot of dead Carthaginians. You can see there's some Galatians in there. Some thorax. Over on this side, they're still fighting the fight. Royal Peltis, 143 kills. 53 on the Illyrian levies. Royal Peltis is probably going to die here soon. He's up to, still has 85 men, and he had to use the whip and battle rhythm. So look at his melee attack, 73, 48 weapon damage. Royal Peltis are one of those units that their melee attack is so high that they don't miss very often, and they've got a pretty good weapon damage, so when they hit, they do a pretty good amount of damage. The biggest downside to the Royal Peltis is their lack of armor, and their shield block chance is not as good, so they really don't like arrows. Because even, you know, if you look at their armor, it's 80, it's not bad. But it's that lack of shield block chance. That's where Royal Peltis really struggle. Looks like Epirus wants to take his stuff back over. I have been kind of surprised by the lack of Nabatean Heavy Archer present. I think, so from this position, he can't get a great shot on the Epirus Cretans, but I don't think I've really seen him try either. I think this side is going to turn bad soon, because they need so many units to fill this area that I'm concerned that the defenders maybe don't have enough units to continue holding this area. Uh-oh. Another tortoise. Then you got a Sam Knight here that's caught way out of position. Here come the Massilian Thorough Spears. Oh, because that unit's out of position, he's going to shoot right in their side. I was talking earlier about the Javelin strat, and this is the Javelin strat. You get these units in behind, and you just jabby the living hell out of anything you see. Cretans, they're doing okay, 37, 28, and 45. New Royal Peltis come in, so they're doing a good job once again of cycling those Royal Peltis. This is that same one from earlier, 74 men left. He's got 157 kills. And this is a more relatively fresh one. This one's taken quite a bit of damage, 102 men left, but only 65 kills. Desert Legionnaires, 87 kills. Armored Desert Hoplite, 61. But you can see that the carpet is thick over here. You know, I don't know why. Hold on. Where is Nabatia's general? Oh, he's stuck behind here. I'm a little confused as to why Nabatea doesn't take his general out and at least threaten. He doesn't have to get into the archers, but just the presence of that cav being outside can make the other side do really wonky things. So I'm a little surprised that he's not using that to threaten their flanks, just to make them have to commit units to defending against it. That's what I would do, especially just given the fact that the Nabatean general right now doesn't have a whole lot he can do. This inside, it is pretty open, so if they do break through and get into these other areas, the Nabatean general might be able to get some use out of that. But in reality right now, that Nabatean general is kind of stuck where he is without really much of a job. You know, they've been using their abilities, which is good. That is a good thing. Most underutilized thing that I find with lesser experienced players is much underutilization of their general's abilities. Get your general up to the front, pop that battle rhythm, use that oh my gosh, it is second wind. Excuse me, I just had to like brain fart there. And then get him out of there, you know, get in there, use your abilities, then GTFO. So did anybody, I gotta ask, did anybody see the trailer or the title drop video from Amazon for the Lord of the Rings show? If you have, let me know in the comment section. What did you think of the trailer, and what are your thoughts of the upcoming show? Do you have concerns about the show, about how Amazon will handle it? Are you excited to see more Lord of the Rings content from anybody, honestly? And let me know. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts. I am a massive, diehard Lord of the Rings fans. For any new people, I am a big fan. Sorry, I said fans, I don't know why. But for any people that are new to the channel, and you may not know that, but anybody who's been here for a while knows that I am a gigantic Lord of the Rings nerd. And so I'm interested. I'm very interested. I'm also a huge Wheel of Time fan, and I'm not very happy with Season 1 of the Wheel of Time, but that is a whole separate thing that would take way too much time to explain. If there are any more Wheel of Time fans, I would love to know. It's my favorite series of all time, and I would love to know if there's anybody who watches it, anybody else who watches the channel. I can't talk tonight, guys. I'm sorry. But I want to know if you guys are interested in the same stuff. Let me know in the comment section. You can see now Empress, their archers moving over this way. How did Pergamon do in the end? 135, 139, 138. Really, there wasn't a whole lot over here that was there to counter off any archer fire. The Carthaginian Cretans, I believe, were using most of their ammo over to the other street. 155, 138, and 196. Really good. And they all chevron, so that's a good thing. I'm of the opinion a chevron per 100 kills is about what you should be looking for when it comes to value. It's that ever-long question of, are kills kills, or does it matter what I kill? If I sit here and slaughter 500 men, but they're all low-tier units, is that worth it? Or is it only when I kill really good stuff that it's worth it? That's another good question for you guys. What do you think? Are kills kills, or does it matter what you're killing? For me, I think it's situational. I do think there are situations where just getting the kills matters, but there are situations where wasting, things like javelin fire on really low-tier units is not worth it. Free kills on really high-tier stuff is a really strong thing. But, free kills on low-tier stuff, it's just not as impactful. But I do think, especially when it comes to balance of power and army losses, that I do think that kills is correct. Like I said, I do think it's situational either way. Like most things, it just depends on the situation you're in, and battle to battle, that's going to change. So Desert Cohort went in now, right? Yeah, there it is. Really drawn out. So I think he had the command on the Agema Spear, but his unit's so drawn out that they really looped around the Agema Spear. I do see that they did open a breach on the other side of the tower now. They've got the Thorough Spear guarding the ballista, but I'm pretty sure the ballista's out of ammunition. So I don't know why they don't just take the Thorough Spear to the city. I'm going to bet you that he forgot about it. I've done it before. You're just like, shit. Oh, shit. I've still got this Thorough Spear sitting back here that I need to use that. Agema Spears, 29 kills, 21 kills. The Thorough Spears and Agema Spears have 5 ammunition. A little bit better than just a standard infantry unit, a little bit worse than a skirmisher unit. But they are running low on troops. Bounce power is actually evened out a little bit. Still a little bit in favor of the attackers, but not by that much. I think most of it's probably being carried by these Royal Peltists that are over here. 100 kills, 116, 173. But honestly, I think that Epirus is doing a lot of cycling here, and getting a lot of use of his Royal Peltists. But I think they're real. The thing they're now counting on is this side. Before they were putting all their eggs over here, but I think that they have now changed their strategy. They want to get through here because if you look behind the first layer, there's nothing else. All that's back here are just archers, Nabatean heavies, Cretan archers, heavy Numidian skirmishers. You got one unit of armored desert hoplites back in the back, but they're guarding a breach. I think this side is about to get really interesting for the defenders. Samnites now going in, switching out the Royal Peltists again, up to 191 kills. Armored Desert Hoplite at, what, 69? Giggity. They only, I mean, so Masacely has multiple Desert Legionaries over here, and they're probably going to need, yeah. So there's 2 Desert Cohorts here, and, or no, it's a Desert Cohort and a Desert Legionary, but they might be too late because they are really low. Well, okay, they've got a Desert Cohort. I don't know, man. I would be really sketched out about this. I'm a little surprised that the attackers haven't been taking advantage of some of the gaps, because there have been gaps in this battle, but I haven't really seen anybody attempt to get through them. I think now we got a Royal Peltist coming over here now too, so we've got one of the hard hitters. Oh, look at this. Nabatean Heavies still have some ammo over here, and I think they are nuking the Royal Peltist. Yeah, look at that. Ow, that's painful. Oh, and then heavy Numidian skirmishers from the other side. Oh, but here comes the Massilian Thorough Spear. All right, there it is. This is the gap. That is where they need to be going through. They need to get there before the Desert Legionary gets in and plugs it. That's a big missed opportunity, I think. Desert Legionary is now going to plug that gap, but they do still need something over here. And then it looks like Nabatean swords are going to go try and engage the Massilian Thorough Spears. Pretty sure these guys still have ammo, so if I was them, I would back up here and get some shots in on that square formation. Square formation is going to make those units really, really vulnerable to the javelin fire and archer fire. He backed him all the way back here. This is a close fight, guys. I think the question is going to be, for the defenders, can Masacely, does he have enough to fill these gaps and finish off the attackers? For the attackers, the question is going to be, the Royal Peltists, do you have enough left to do this? Because I don't know. Pergamon still has some Thorough Spears and Agema Spears, but in the end, they're not going to be they're not going to be your breach breakers. They're not going to be able to punch their way through some of these defenses. And once they're out of ammunition with their javelins, they lose a lot of their effectiveness other than just being able to hold a position. So they finished one unit off, but here comes the last unit available to Misasi on this side. 160-man Desert Cohort going in on the Mercenary Samnite Warrior. You got the half-health Desert Legionary up on the walls fighting the desert, or the Lyrian levies. So the Royal Peltis General is going to get in here, but what's going to hurt a lot is going to be all of this. They still have ammo on their heavy Numidian skirmishers, and they might still have ammo. Well, I don't know. Nabatea sword's out, so maybe not. Then a heavy Numidian skirmisher here with 0 kills. So multiple units getting in, Massilian Cav, bunch of Cretan archers getting in through the breach. The Nabatean general is gone. All right, so Massilian Cav is now free to roam. There's a lot of room in here for him to get around. Right now, I think he's going after the Carthaginian general, because somehow this depleted unit is not dead. Or at least, I mean, the general is not dead. With only 4 men left, he's still alive. That never happens to me. My gen dies with, like, you know, half a unit left. Bounce power is shifted towards the defenders. I think they might be able to pull this one off. Heavy Numidian skirmishers shooting right in the back of the Royal Peltis. And now you have the half-strength Desert Legionary coming to come in, and they're going to engage too. Oh my god. Oh, I don't like it. I think the defenders are going to pull this off, but I think it's going to be from army losses. I think the attackers are going to lose. I think they're going to. I think their army is going to break. They do still have the Pergamon general, I think, but the Epirus general, I believe, is dead now. He might technically still be alive. 24 men. And nothing so far saying that the Epirus general is dead. Somehow he might still be alive with 20 men left. Once again, the luckiest people. Masacely's general is still alive over here. Game Spears 135 is pretty darn good. Yeah, I think this is it. For some reason, still not saying he's dead. All right, now the heavy Numidian skirmisher general is going to come over here and assist with this, and I think that that is going to be it. Somehow, a teeter-totter battle, and the defenders are going to pull this one off. How they pulled this out of their ass, I have no stinking idea. But, well played on both sides. They were able to punish the attackers enough over here to alleviate the fact that they really almost didn't have enough men to cover this area. The attackers, it was a hard-fought thing. Look at the, oh my god. Cheese and crackers. All right, let's go look at some kills here. So first off, for the defenders, we have Nabatea with 2,255 kills. Nice, very well done. He literally came in second in the game by 1 man. All right, archers, look at, oh my gosh, 278, 384, and 277. Good lord. Armored Desert Hoplites, 126, 134, 136, 108 on a Nabatean Swordsman. Really good. Who's Mr. Bubbles? As Carthage with 1,978 kills. Archers all did extremely well there. Balearics with 137. Libyans 149, 121. And Samnites got 194 there. And finally, Masacely, being commanded by Ghost King, 1,709 kills. Desert Legionaries, 197, 134. Pretty good all the way across the board here. For the attackers, we have Massilia being commanded by Evero, 1,743 kills. His Cav actually got some good use there at the end, 198 on the Ballista. 164 on a Celtic's pretty darn good. Thorax here, 120 men or so. We've got Wesley commanding Pergamon, 2,256 kills, leading the game as Pergamon. Let's see, 166 on the Ballista, 246 on a Pick Peltus. These units are underrated, just saying. Archers actually did really, really well there. The Game of Spears, 155, 153, 178. And finally, Pizza Maker commanding Epirus with 1,807 kills. His Royal Peltus actually did pretty solid there. Archers did pretty good too, 163, 163. Sam Knights, actually really nice. It just looks like he didn't have enough of them. But that is going to be it for today's battle. Thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget that if you are new to the channel, go and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time.